is here.
The Holy War.
And the Zone is getting you ready for a historic battle between the Utes and the Cougars.
Tough way to lose a ball game. Unfortunate way to lose a ball game. Proud of our guys. Proud of our players. They battled. They should hold their heads high. It's not on them. It's not on them. They played hard. They did everything they could from start to finish, and I'm proud of them. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it turned out the way it did.
This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not.
Holy War coverage on the Zone is presented by UCCU. Love where you bank. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Join Hans and Scotty coming up on Wednesday for the Cougar Preview Show. Brought to you by Beehive Meals. Going down with those guys on Wednesday. But tonight, I am not. I hope we get something crazy like that again. That was a fun one. The AD melting down in the postgame.
Who's the prime?
Like that?
Who's the prime candidate?
Oh, you know what? I actually don't even think it needs to be a meltdown. One thing I like about the rivalry is it seems like every year has some sort of wacky thing that happened that we remember. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a meltdown. Sometimes it's something on the field. I'd say most of the time it's something on the field.
Ideally, it's something on the field.
But, I mean, think about it. I mean, we've labeled these games, Brandon Burton's block or Johnny Harlene's still open or my favorite, the 4th and 18, because I was standing right next to it that happened, which was one of the wilder plays, I think, in rivalry history.
Utes fans stormed the field thrice.
3 different times. I was there for that, too.
Yep.
That was a funny one. I remember thinking in that postgame, because I covered Utes postgame for that one, and I just thought to myself, if the fans had cost Utah a rivalry game,
there'd be no fans. Whit would ban the fans.
What would the tone and tenor of that postgame be like? Mm-hmm. Coach, the fans kept BYU in this one and able to win it because they couldn't stay off the field. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Because it made it, if memory serves, it turned it into a makeable field goal, a really long field goal, right? But one that was at least in theory makeable, and they still missed, and Utah held on, right? And imagine if they would have made that field goal. I was in Utah's post game when the Max Hall, I hate everything about him, happened. PK got the pleasure of covering BYU for that particular year. That was one of the most angry I'd ever seen Kyle Whittingham in a post game because something happened with his family when the field rushed. BYU fans rushed the field, and he was mad.
Bent.
He was mad. But yeah, I hope it's something on the field. But if it's a post-game press conference meltdown, I'll take that.
Yeah, we're going to get some magic.
So
we're going to get something exciting. I have no doubt about that.
Speaking of 4th and 18. Ben, you've done a lot of pregame shows in various forms, and a cliche with pregame shows is keys to the game, right? Like, hey, Ben, give us your keys to the game. I was so proud of myself on the 4th and 18 game. You know why? Because I said the matchup of the game that will determine the outcome, my key to the game, is Bryce McCain guarding Austin Collie. And how does that go?
Yeah.
And the truth is, Bryce McCain played one heck of a game until that play. And you could argue that the coaching staff made a mistake because 4th and 18, why are you manning up on Austin Collie? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Austin Collie made that big play over Bryce McCain, and it turned out to be the difference in the game. BYU went on to win. Who will Utah choose to take out of the game with Smith Snowden?
You think Smith Snowden's taking somebody out of the game?
I don't know. That's what they're going to try and do because that's a huge key to the game. Stopping L.J. Martin requires a corner to do yeoman's work one-on-one with somebody. And obviously with Smith, who's shown himself to be versatile and play the slot and play the outside and all of that, it might be multiple somebodies. But a big strength of BYU and, one of the luxuries the Bear has is he's got guys on the outside that can get it done. So who do you pick to put your best corner on out on an island so you can commit an extra guy to the run game. Because that's what Utah wants to do. They want to make the Bear throw, and they want to take L.J. Martin out of it. That's the goal. And if you can put Smith out on an island with somebody, then that makes that a lot easier. I mean, that's the whole point of Utah's defense.
That's the design.
So where do you put Smith Snowden, and can he be effective? And I think he can. I mean, as good as BYU's receivers are, Smith's pretty good himself. But where do you go?
I am not anticipating that BYU is going to run the ball terrifically well against Utah because nobody runs the ball terrifically well against Utah ever. So I'm not betting that BYU is going to find some magic sauce there to be able to run the ball. And so I guess to not answer your question, but by answering the question, this game is going to come down to Chase Roberts and Parker Kingston. That's the game. Because Kingston can beat you both as a receiver and in special teams, and you saw how good he was against Arizona State. And Chase Roberts has made numerous big plays throughout his career, including last year against Utah. So yeah, where do you put Smith? That's my whole point. Yeah. It's going to come down to those two guys.
Who's the
he's
Austin
going to be
Collie?
on those two guys. It's going to be those two guys, right? And it's not going to be all night. It's going to switch around. He's going to move around. He's not going to lock either one of them up. Chase Roberts is too good, and Kingston's probably too good as well to lock them up. And I don't think Smith Snowden is quite that Clark Phillips, Jalen Johnson level of corner right now. So I'm not sure he's going to take a guy out of a game. So I don't even – I guess I disagree with the way you're formatting the question that he's going to go out there and shut anybody down. So it's going to be Utah's entire game plan, I think, to win this game is going to come down to slowing those two guys. Because if you can keep those guys from having the 75-yard touchdown, which they gave up against Texas Tech, and that BYU has been able to find a way to break these big plays, including over the weekend against Arizona, with those guys, if Utah can limit that, Utah can win this game.
If they can't limit that, then they won't be able to stop the run. And that is a recipe. Yeah.
It will come apart.
Because they'll have to commit more people to those two players, and they'll have a tough time stopping L.J. Martin. I mean, that's the recipe for success. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think it is very much relevant. Can Smith Snowden be effective against one? I mean, if you want to say he's going to spend time on both, I mean, fine. But will he be effective? I think a big part of this game depends on that player. Because if you can take Kingston out of the game, then you can spend the rest of your pass resources concentrating on Chase Roberts or the tight ends who've been effective for BYU, obviously. So it's what that defense is predicated on. If you can leave corners out on an island, then you can be extremely effective against everybody else. But if you have to sit in a soft zone because the receivers are too good, then L.J. Martin's good enough to make you pay. I mean, that's the hard part. That's the gamble you make with the Whittingham defenses. And more often than not, it's pretty good. But when it doesn't work, they're vulnerable.
Yeah, Utah's front four is going to have a lot of success without adding extra bodies.
Yeah. Well,
and if you can, then Utah can absolutely win this game.
I put it more on the corners than I do the front four, honestly. I get your point. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I put it more on the corners. So, yeah, you can commit those other guys to making a freshman's life miserable.
Because I don't think BYU's offensive line has been dominant this year. I do think Bear has been most effective when he's running the ball. I still think that's when he's at his best. Now, BYU, I said this last week, is at their best when they're able to throw the ball. When they're able to move the ball through the air, because then it opens up things for L.J. Martin and Bear to run the ball, etc. But that's where BYU's been at their best, is L.J. Martin and Bear Bachmeier being able to move the ball. And that has come as a result of some of the big chunk plays they've been able to get by connecting with Roberts or with Kingston in the passing game. And again, everything's related. You need one to do the other. If you can't do one, you're not going to be able to do the other very well. So credit Bear Bachmeier for being able to get it done. But one of the ways they've been able to get it done is he's had enough time in the pocket. When he's not had enough time in the pocket, he's not been particularly good, or he's had to scramble. And if I'm Utah, I'm fine with Bear trying to get out and scramble and run around a lot, because I just saw Jeff Sims try to do it. And whenever Jeff Sims tried to do it, who's a bigger player than Bear Bachmeier, it didn't go well. And when West Virginia tried to do it with their freshman quarterback, it worked a little bit. They moved the ball better than they did in the first half, but it was not good enough to beat Utah.
Yeah, I think that's a freshman thing, because that was the Bears' worst interception, right? When he was he picked it up and then was running for his life and just threw a terrible ball. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody not named Johnny Manziel, that's going to be true for. And I'm sure you're right. That's going to be Utah's objective, and how many guys it takes for that, But if you got a guy on the outside, you're still alive. I mean, I'll be curious to see which quarterback makes the throws to win, because I think it is going to be close. I think if somebody gets out to a big early lead, that could be disastrous for the other team. But if it's close, it might come down to what quarterback can make throws. And I'm not sure we know either way.
Well, Devin Dampier, and look, it was PI. It was a clear PI.
That was a rough throw.
That was a horrendous throw.
That was a
The
rough
interception in the end zone, which got called back because, was it Jackson Benny, just got shoved in the back?
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty unforgivable throw. Now, it's a 50-50 ball to maybe your best receiver, and it's a tight end, and he did have a size advantage. I get it. But even then, like, it was a floater that had a safety come over, and maybe Devin Dampier didn't see the safety come over, so he felt comfortable throwing this in one-on-one and saying, yeah, it's a jump ball for my bigger guy. It was a bad throw, and it got picked off, and it ended up being PI, and it was a clear shove in the back to be able to get that ball. And maybe if he scores the touchdown, we say, wow, gutsy throw, but it was a bad throw. And he's done that a couple of times. He can't do that. If Devin Dampier turns the ball over against BYU has shown a propensity for pick sixes.
Yeah.
You know, they have good corners that can punish you there. So that's something that, yes, it's going to come down. It's not just Bears being prone to making mistakes, but I do trust Utah's ability to get pressure, I think, maybe a little bit more than BYU. Not because BYU's defense is not excellent. It is, but because Utah's offensive line is phenomenal.
If BYU can make Utah one-dimensional offensively, it's going to be a long day for Utah. But and saying that and doing it are two entirely different things. You know what I thought, though, on that throw? So touch and accuracy are two things that you can't really teach. I mean, you can improve accuracy a little bit, and maybe you can work on touch, but especially touch is not. It's kind of something you have or you don't.
Correct.
And you know what I thought? Like, I don't have touch, and thus I think it's part of the reason I'm such a terrible putter on the golf course, because I just don't. You know, like, but I'll whack a putt 10 feet too far, 15 feet too far. And you know what happens every time with my next putt?
8 feet short.
Maybe 12.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, know?
Yeah.
I thought that was Dampier trying to throw a ball with some touch and not really, like, overcompensating it and moonballing it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like Taysom Hill would do that because he didn't have any touch either. His was either 1,000-mile-an-hour fastball or you didn't know where it was going.
And I don't think Bear has great touch either,
Maybe not.
particularly.
I don't
but
know.
He has thrown some good balls. Now, you know who has great touch, and it's honestly it's his one skill is Noah Fafita. He has great touch. Yeah, he threw
does.
some balls in that game. You're like, wow, that is an incredible throw from that 5'4", really slow person. Because he gets out of the pocket and he can't go anywhere. It's really funny that he can't escape because he looks like Kyler Murray a little bit with the size, and maybe it's just
he got caught from behind by a defensive tackle.
Yeah, but he can't get away from anybody, and he's running for his life, and their O-line's not good. But it would be one thing if he could scramble, which, you know, if he had Devin Dampier's wheels with his arm, he is Kyler Murray. Like, that's a hell of a player. He just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But man, his touch is phenomenal.
It's a real thing. I'm trying to think who Aaron Rodgers might be the best example of touch.
No question about it.
That guy had amazing touch.
Elite.
He knew how the angle and how hard to throw it and exactly where it needed to go for his teammate. Like Tom Brady had decent touch, but his superpower was getting the ball out and making decisions. I mean, you can
Great
look at quarterback,
accuracy,
but Aaron Rodgers' ability to just lay it in the perfect place every time is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Rodgers might be the best passer.
Yeah.
Pure throwing ability that of the quarterbacks we've seen in the last 25 years. He's there. Mahomes has great touch too.
I thought that about Dampier. I thought, he just overcompensated. He hit my 3-foot putt that was supposed to go 15. Yeah. Just put it a little too far up there.
I'm a Travis Wilson guy. Fastball right up the middle every time.
That was Taysom. It lost them a game at Notre Dame. And was it a 2-point conversion, or they were either in the red zone or it was a 2-point conversion, and he had Cody Hoffman, I think, wide open and just launched it.
Put some heat on this one.
He's just wide open, like right there, like, okay, just toss it to me, and he winged it into like the 4th row.
Yeah.
Some people, it's just a thing, and
Taysom had some accuracy issues too.
Well, he did.
Yeah.
No, we get so caught up. We get so caught up in arm strength. Like, who was the bozo the Raiders drafted who could throw it 50 yards on his knees?
Or,
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
We get so, like, the arm strength on that guy.
It's Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Touch and accuracy are way more important.
Yeah, way better.
All right, stay tuned. Our good friend, the former Ute, the former Patriot, Christian Cox, is on the show next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.